योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। यं गुरुं हि स्वयं सत्यः प्रज्ञाभक्तिविनीतयः दीप्तिश्चापि व्रता नित्यं तं गुरुं प्रणमाम्यहम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। Verse 30. Okay. स्थूलादिन्द्रियसञ्चयात् खलु परः सूक्ष्मोऽर्थसङ्घो मनः तस्माच्चापि परं ततो विधिषणा तस्याः परो वै महान् अव्यक्तं महतः परं हि पुरुषः अव्यक्तात् परस्तत्परम् नो किञ्चित् सपरा गतिः स च परा काष्ठा हि सर्वान्तरः गूढोत्मा भुवनेष्वयं न सकलैः ज्ञेयो वृतो मायया बुद्ध्या सूक्ष्मिकयाग्र्यया पुनरयम् सूक्ष्मेक्षणैर्दृश्यते विद्वान् हृद्युपसंहरेद्गिरमिदं चित्तं च बुद्धौ महत्येनां तञ्च महान्तमान्तरतमे शान्ते प्रतीच्यात्मनि यज्ञानं बत दुर्गमं सुनिशिता शस्त्रस्य धारा यथा शब्दस्पर्शमरूपमव्ययमजं नित्यं ध्रुवं चारसम् निर्गन्धं यदनन्तमेत्य पुरुषः मृत्योर्मुखान्मुच्यते विद्या सुप्तित आशु जागृतनराः तत्प्राप्तुमाचार्यिणः श्रोत्रादीन्द्रियसञ्चयं स भगवान् शब्दादिबाह्यार्थगम् चक्रे यत्तदसौ पुमान् बहिरिमान् भुङ्क्ते स्वकैरिन्द्रियैः धीरः कोऽपि यतेन्द्रियो न भवति स्वं प्रत्यगात्मानमत्राप्तुं मोक्षमुशन्न धीरहृदया कामी तु मृत्योर्वशः लोके येन समीक्षते लोको येन समीक्षते ध्वनिरसस्पर्शांश्च दुःखं सुखं रूपं गन्धगुणं च जाग्रति तथा स्वप्ने सुषुप्तावपि अज्ञानं हृदयेन्द्रियाद्यविदितं यस्यास्ति नो किञ्चन ज्ञात्वा स्यात्ममहेश्वरं मधुभुजं धीरो न शोचत्यमुम्. So we are looking at the commentary of verse 34, which is a fairly long commentary. So in the commentary, in page 31, so last para is a big para. So we were looking at the commentary presented in that paragraph. So as I was mentioning in the previous classes, so this is primarily an anumana which is being presented here. Yena. See, yena tena. See, so this is how we have to understand. So the verse commences with Loko yena samikshate. So Loko yena samikshate. So this has to do with the mantra itself, which starts with Yena Rupam Rasam Gandham Shabdan Sparsham Maithunan. The Bhagavad Pada also hinted the Anumana, and therefore Ramaraya presents a few Anumanas which can be drawn from here. In the previous class, I was presenting one Anumana. So that Anumana has to do with the Bhasyalingena Bhasakanumanat. So let us quickly run through the commentary starting from the beginning of the paragraph, then we will move on from where we left in greater detail. So nacha svataha visheshabhasanakshamasya chaitanyasya katham vrittyuparudhattamatrena tallabhaha iti vachyam. So we were also explaining in the previous classes as to what we should understand by the term vritti. Okay? So vrittihi is a certain transformation that is happening in the mind. So any transformation is what is referred to as vritti. Parinamaha. Parinamaha chittasya parinamaha vritti shabdena abhidhiyate. So this is to be very clear. Vrittihi can mean various things. உங்களுக்கு என்ன விருத்தி? Suppose this fellow will say Vaidika vritti. This fellow will say Laukika vritti. So that is also a vritti. Yena vartate, by which he lives. That is also considered as a vritti. Okay. So this vritti here, yogaschitta vritti nirodhaha. There it should be simply taken as parinamaha. Okay. Chitta vrittehe parinamaha. Now a certain transformation that happens within the brain, okay, that is responsible for giving us a cognition. This, keeping in this in mind, so this Atma, here he says, Vrittyuparudhatva matrena tallabhaha katham. So this Atma is Svatah Prakasha, always there, you say. Now, Sushupto na prakashate. Sushupto kyunpi na prakashate. Suppose one were to ask, why? Then what would you say? Tatra vrittihi nasti ataha na prakashati. Understand? So tatra vrittihi nasti ataha na prakashati. Vrittihi yada bhavati tada vrittyuparudhassan idam chaitanyam vishayan avabhasayati. So that is what he is trying to convey here. See, nachasvataha vishaya avabhasana akshamasya chaitanyasya. This chaitanyam is there in Sushupti. Svataha vishayan avabhasayati. Okay. Katham vrittyuparudhattamatrena tallabhaha iti navachyam. So this example, svatas samanyatapahetorapi atapasya darpana vishesharudhattva matrena daha hetutva darshanat. Svatas samanyatapahetorapi. The sun's rays on their own, so may generate some heat which may be bearable, which may not be bearable, depending upon. See, our body is comfortable only within some 4-5 degrees. See, it can be some 22 to 28, that's all. So beyond that, haha, dahati. So below that, haha, shaityena piditaha. In fact, recently I was in Haridwar. So there, it was very cold. So the only option was to switch on. So I kept at 27. So that was a heat air which is blowing from there. Inside that room, it is already somewhere 18 degrees, 15 degrees, whatever. So this 28 degrees is a 27 degrees is a heat air, hot air which is blowing from there. So if I were in Chennai, 35 degrees, so the 28 will be a cold air for me. See, that will be a cold air. Degree is the same. So that this is what actually makes the difference. Anyway, so here, see, you see, Swataha Samanya Tapa Hetu. The 28 degrees is 28 degrees. Whether it is Tapa Hetu or Shaitya Hetu depends upon the atmospheric temperature. So similarly, here the sun's rays, so in sun's rays it is shining. Now if you just focus it, see, through a concave mirror, see, then you can focus on some fellow. So he will suffer a burn on the shirt. See, Swatassamanya tapahetoho api atapasya darpana vishesharudhattamatrena dahahetutva darshanat. On its own it doesn't, but vrittiparudha chaitanyantu vishayanavabhasayati. So that is the example that he provides. In fact, most of us nowadays, this designing aspect is something which is very important. So if you were to design a temple, so at 11 o'clock, suppose somebody were to go, it is open all the time, assume. So then they think of what stone to put. That heat, so that will be really burning. You cannot keep your foot. Right? Vrittiparudhatva matrena means that can retain more heat and present more heat to you. So, Vrittiparudhatva matrena, so it is the same heat. The stone does not receive heat from elsewhere. So, the Vrittiparudhatva matrena, see, that is what is the point which is being given here with an example. Then, Tasmat Chaitanyameva sarvavabhasakam. Without Chaitanya, there is no Vishayavabhasa. Atayeva yasya Chaitanyatmanaha aviditam ajnatam kinchidapi nasti. So this was explained in the previous class. Chaitanya anabhasyasya shashasringadi tulyatvadi bhavaha. The only entity which cannot be presented to us is a non-existing entity. Chaitanya anavabhasyasya shashasringadi dulyatvat iti bhavaha. Yetena sarvajagatav kaschit atmapadarthaha. See, asti atmapadarthaha iti siddham. Okay. So now, here is the anumana which I was trying to present to you in the previous class. See, bhasyalingena bhasakanumanat. Bhasyalingena bhasakanumanat. Linga here means hetu, sadhana. See, so bhasyalingena bhasakanumanat. See, I was presenting in the previous class. See, so bhasyam means anything that becomes evident to us. So in this jagat you can take any padartha. Okay? Idan jagat, you can take the entire word. Idan jagat kinchit prayukta bhana vishayaha bhasyatvat. Kinchit prayukta bhana vishayaha bhasyatvat. Yannaivam tannaivam yatha atma. You can present a Vedareka Anumana which I was explaining in the previous class. Now we move on to the next sentence. Bhasyalingena bhasakanumanat asya jagataha atmamaheshwaram atmabhutam mahantam ishwarancha. If you look at the verse, the last quarter, Nyatva syatmamaheshwaram madhubhujam dhiro nashochatyamam.
Jnatva hasyatmamaheshwaram madhubhujam dhiro na shochatyamam. So here he is taking the word Atmamaheshwaram and explaining Asya. In fact, this word Asya should be bold. See, Asya is a pratika. Asya means Jagataha. That is why he is explaining Asya Jagataha Atmamaheshwaram. So Atmamaheshwaram is explained as Atmabhutam Maheshwaram. Atmabhutam Maheshwaram means he is the core of this Jagat as well as Maheshwaram. Understand? The core means Upadana Karana and Maheshwara is Nimitta Karana, who is responsible for running various things. Okay? Atmabhutam Mahantam Ishwarancha Atmamaheshwaram Anena Yena Atmana Jagadidam Satmakam Tasya Atmanaha Eva Asatve Katham Jagataha Satvam Ityatma Stitvam Nyayate. Understand? So that is why he is saying Upadana. Without the Upadana, the entity cannot be there. That is what he is trying to explain in the next sentence. Anena Yena Atmana Jagadidam Satmakam. Yena Atmana Jagadidam Satmakam. So the very existence of this Atman is responsible for the Jagat to be seen by you. So there are very interesting discussions which are going on. So those who keep breaking their heads regarding the origin of this universe. Understand? The origin of this universe. Where did it come from? Was there something which is tangible that we see today existing at some point of time before? Now, see here, Idam Jagat, the moment you say, Idam Jagat means Paridrishyamanam. So that which you see in front of you through your sense of perception. Yena Atmana Jagadidam Satmakam. Satmakam means the one which is responsible for it to be known by you as existent. Asya Jagataha Sattvam Asya Upadana Bhutasya Padarthasya Yat Sattvam Tadapekshya. Understand? So therefore he is saying Jagadidam Satmakam Tasya Atmanaha Eva Asatve Katham Jagataha Sattvam. Okay. So Atmanaha Eva Asatve Jagatas Sattvam Katham. So Jagatas Sattvam Nasyat. Jagataha Sattvam. In fact, the question should be put before. Tasya Atmanaha Eva Asatve Jagataha. Katham Jagatas Sattvam. The question should be before. Then you should say Ityatma Stitvam Nyayate. Full stop. Isn't that? So thus we come to know the existence of Atman. Iti Atma Stitvam Nyayate. Further, he gives another hint to Anumana. Ishitavya Jagallingat Ishitavya Jagallingena Maheshwaraha Atma Anumiyate Cheti Siddham. Ishitavya Jagallingena Maheshwaraha Atma Anumiyate Cheti Siddham. This also has to be understood by us. See, Ishitavya Jagallingena. Ishitavya means so the one who governs this. Understand? So Ishitavya is that which is governed. So Ishita is the one who governs. So Ishitavya Jagallingena. So this has to be understood by us clearly. There are various things that we keep employing in our day-to-day affairs. Ishitavya Jagallinga. So suppose you take, the simple thing is, you fry some bread. So whether this has to be light brown in color or dark brown in color, so this is all left to you, right? Depending on how much you roast it. Understand? So you are the Ishita as far as the bread is concerned. So this is Ishitavya. Understand? So if you think of a pot, so suppose, Gayatri wants to make some payasam. So she is the Ishita, whether she wants to do it for half an hour or 1.5 hours. So how condensed the milk has to be. So you are the Ishita as far as that entity is concerned. You drive the car, at what speed you want to make it run, you are the Ishita. So car is Ishitavya, you are the Chetana, right? So all these padarthas are Jada padarthas. So Jada padarthas do not function on their own. There is a certain Ishita. Many of these Jada padarthas. Okay. Now, many of these Jada padarthas, as you see in the world, are either made to function in a particular way, depending upon the kind of padartha. So you try to make it function in a particular way. So they are all governed by you. Understand? So therefore, in the Nyaya Shastra, they do various kinds of anumanas, and the anumanas are primarily to prove the existence of a Ishita for any activity that is happening at a larger scale. Understand? So we see that there is a Chetana which is required for the Jada padarthas to function. Suvarna is there. If you want to turn it, you give a certain design as an Anguliyaka in particular form. There is a goldsmith. There is a blacksmith. So we human beings are trying to process certain things. All the Jada padarthas we try to process. So we are the Ishita in some extent, to some extent. Sometimes, as we are facing today, the virus becomes the Ishita. We are all Ishitavyas. So we who considered ourselves as Ishita have become Ishitavya. So you are trying to once again try to overpower. They may overpower. This may keep happening. Anyway, but there is something called Ishita and Ishitavya. This is very clear. Right? Ishita and Ishitavya. Now, the moment you say everything is Ishitavya, okay? So in fact, there are various passages in Upanishads which keeps talking of the Surya Chandramasu Vidhrite Tishtataha. So there is a certain order in which things are moving. So wherever you find a certain order, you find a certain Chetana who is trying to build that order. So this is how we can extend it. So keeping that in mind, this entire Jagat, he says, is Ishitavya. Okay. So Jagat is Ishitavya. The Ishitavya Jagallingena, what do you infer? Maheshwaraha Atma Anumiyate. Kaschana Chetanaha Maheshwaraha Atma Anumiyate. So Ishitavya Jagallingena Maheshwaraha Kaschana Atma Anumiyate. So if you want to present a very simple form of Anumana, see, you can present. See, I will tell you, very simple. Idam Jagat Sheshitru Ishitavyatvat Ghatavat. Finish. Simple Anumana. Idam Jagat Sheshitru. See, that is sufficient to put as sadhya. Okay. Why? Ishitavyatvat. So you can say ghatadivat. So ghata you can give any shape. So you can give any shape to mrit. So these things. So any jada padartha so is governed by a certain chetana padartha. If you want to explain the functioning among the jada padarthas, then you invoke a certain force to come into play. Okay. So in scientific parlance, so why is this earth moving around this now? So you say there is some gravity. So there is a certain force which is responsible. Okay. So it is this force, see, the force, the one who has created the force. So that is what we call as Ishvara. Okay. So this Ishitavya is something which is set in order in some sort of a motion, some functioning. So that is Ishitavya. So Ishitavya Jagallingena, so Maheshwaraha Atma Anumiyate. In fact, there is a very interesting, see, some of you are really keen to know, study further, right? So I'll just give you, there is one Adhikarana. This Adhikarana is in the first Adhyaya itself, third pada. This Adhikarana is called Aksharadhikarana. Okay. So there one sutra is there, Sacha Prashasanat. I'll explain that in brief to you. Those who want to read further, they can go and read. So there, so the Vishaya Vakya is, see, Kasmin Nukhalvakasha Votascha Saho Vachaitadvaitadaksharangargi Brahmana Abhivadantyasthula Mananva Hrasvam. This is the Vedāntamuktāvalī Vakya is taken as the Vishaya Vakya. What is to be understood by the word Akshara here? This is why it is called Aksharadhikaranam. Aksharadhikaranam is because the sutra, first sutra is Aksharam Ambaranta Dhrite. Next sutra is Sacha Prashasanat. This Prashasitritvam, that is what I wanted to tell you here. Idan Jagat Seshitru Ishitavyatvat. Now here the discussion is, what is to be understood by the term Akshara here? Is it to be taken as Brahman? Or is it to be simply taken as Akshara itself? Why? Because there is an interesting Purva Paksha here. He says, so we have Akshara literally means that which does not decay. So even Varna does not decay. Right? So this is how people take the position. In fact, we have Omkara Vedam Sarvam. So that is also there in Shruti. So why not take that itself as Akshara here? So that is the question that is being posed. Then the answer that is given is Ambaranta Dhritehe. So here Akshara should refer to Brahman only. Why? Ambaranta Dhritehe. Ambaranta means, Ambara means Akasha. In fact, the question is, so step by step it moves. And further, finally he asks, Kasmin nukhal vakasha votascha protascheti. All other things are, see, you cannot think of something which is more all pervasive than Akasha. All other things are within this. Okay, so finally the question is, Akasha, Akasha gevata dotancha protancha ityakashe pratishthitatvam muktva. The question is, Kasmin nukhal vakasha votascha protascheti ityanena prashnena idam aksharam avataritam. Avataritam means in the Vedāntamuktāvalī Upanishad, the context. So this akshara shabda is brought into picture. Okay, idam aksharam avataritam. It has been made to descend. तथा च उपसंहृतम् एतस्मिन् खल्वक्षरे गार्गी आकाशवोतश्च प्रोतश्च इति. Now the answer that is given is सचेयम् अम्बरान्तधृतिः ब्रह्मणः अन्यत्र न सम्भवति. So it is not possible other than Brahman. Omkara, see, this is something which you have to understand. In Shruti, this is a very, very important thing to understand. So sometimes we will find certain vakyas, and those vakyas should not be taken to literally mean that. So that is being hinted by Bhagavad Pada here, that Purvapakshi was asking, Omkara Vedam Sarvam it is said. You said Brahma Vedam. Omkara Vedam is also said. So why not take Akshara to be that Akshara itself? This is the Purvapaksha. So Bhagavad Pada here says, Yadyapi Omkara Vedam Sarvam iti Tadapi Yadapi. Okay, whatever you said in the Purvapaksha, Yadapi Omkara Vedam Sarvam iti Tadapi Brahma Pratipatti Sadhanatvat Stutyartham Drashtavyam. Understand? So, Omkara Vedam Sarvam, when they say, see, these are known as Arthavadas. Okay? Yadapi Omkara Vedam Sarvam iti Tadapi Brahma Pratipatti Sadhanatvat Stutyartham Drashtavyam. Okay? So, Tasmin na, see, Tasmin naksharatiti ashnute cheti cha nityattu vyapitvabhyam aksharam parameva brahma. So the next sutra is more important here. See, sacha prashasanat. This is the next sutra. So now the Purvapakshi says sacha prashasanat. That is another reason. Okay? So here he is asking, you said in the Karana, the Karya owes its existence in the Karana, right? This is what Ramaraya was saying here. So here, Jagadidam Satmakam. Okay, so this Brahman or Atma, whatever you refer to by that word, so that entity is the core for every other being. So without that, this will not exist, right? So here, Yena Atmana Jagadidam Satmakam Tasya Atmanaha eva asatve Katham Jagatas Sattvam. So this is the question. So here he is saying, so this essentially amounts to saying that the Karya cannot exist without Karana. Right? The ring cannot exist without gold. The pot cannot exist without Mrit. So this is what you are trying to say. So now he is asking this question. Karyasya chet Karanadhinatvam Ambarantadhritihi abhyupagamyate pradhana karanavadinaha api ayam upapadyate. Correct. So this will be this akshara. By that akshara you can take pradhana also. He is saying katham ambarantadhritehe brahmatva pratipattihi. So now he says sacha prashasanat. So this pradhana is an achetana entity. So sacha ambarantadhritihi parameshwarasyiva karma kasmat prashasanat. Where do you find the prashasana? Prashasanam hi shruyate etasya va aksharasya prashasane gargi surya chandramasu vidhritau tishthatah. Etasya va aksharasya prashasane surya chandramasau vidhritau tishthatah. Vidhritau tishthatah ityadi. Prasasanancha parameshwaram karma na acetanasya prasasanam bhavati na hyachetananam ghatadi na hyachetananam ghatadi karananam mridadinam ghatadi vishayam prasasanam asti. You understand? So this achetana mridadi does not control the formation of the ghata. You understand? It is only the chetana who is doing this. See, acetananam parasparam ishit-trishitavya bhavaha nasti. Okay? So chetanasya asti. So therefore he is saying any. So you just extend this principle. He extends this principle of this achetana entities being governed by chetana. And therefore, Maheshwaraha Atma. So for the entire Jagat. So that is what is meant by here. Ishitavya Jagalingena Maheshwaraha Atma Anuniyate Cheti Siddham. After that, he says, Kincha Atatiti Apnotiti va Atmeti Vyutpatya Vibhutvancha Uchyate Atmanaha. Atatiti Apnotiti va Atmeti Vyutpatya. See, in one of the earlier classes I was explaining to you in great detail. Yachapnoti yadadatte yachapti vishayaniha yachasya santato bhavaha tasmat atmeti. So this word atati apnoti. So either of this vyutpatti you take. Okay. Atatiti apnotiti va atmeti vyutpatya vibhutvancha uchyate atmanaha. Tena cha vyapya jagallingena vyapakatma. So here you have to split this. See, tena cha vyapya jagallingena. There has to be a break, gap. Vyapakatmanamiti siddhyati. So see, as he was saying, bhogyalingena bhojyanu. See, earlier what was he saying? Bhasyalingena. Bhasyalingena bhasakanumanam. Similarly here, vyapyalingena vyapakanumanam. This has to be understood. Vyapya here one should understand in the sense of something which is less pervasive. Vyapaka is something which is more pervasive. Okay? So vyapyalingena vyapakanumana. The moment you call something as vyapya, obviously something becomes vyapaka. Otherwise this term itself loses its existence. Meaning rather. Okay? So anything that you perceive is vyapya only. So that has to be very clear to us. So whatever that we can perceive, even at a very, very, very large scale, so you can perceive only a small percentage of the universe. So only a small percentage of the universe can be perceived, and there is something which is more vyapaka than that. Okay? So any vyapya you take, so there is a certain vyapaka. So that is what he is trying to say. Vyapyalingena vyapakanumanam iti siddhyati. Then madhubhujam. Madhubhujam is a very interesting term. So madhubhujam yaimam madhvadam veda atmanam jivamantikat. This is the mantra, fifth mantra. Yaimam madhvadam veda atmanam jivamantikat ishanam bhutabhavyasya natato vijugupsate. So this is what is being explained now. So here there is some interesting commentary. Bhashya, you just take just 3-4 lines. See, the word madhvadam is to be understood carefully. So madhvadam literally sounds to be the one who consumes madhu. Okay? Madhu. So madhu here is to be taken as a upabhojya vastu. Okay? So upabhojya vastu, it is a gauna prayoga. You have to understand. So it is a gauna prayoga. So Acharya translates, or rather comments it as Yaha kaschid imam madhvadam karma phala bhujam jivam pranadi kalapasya dharayitaram atmanam veda vijanati. Imam madhvadam veda means the one who understands the jiva here, the true nature of the jiva here. Yaimam madhvadam karma phalabhujam jivam pranadikalapasya dharayitaram atmanam veda. See, Veda means vijanati. See, vijanati means visheshato janati. Not as a fellow who is experiencing all the time sorrow. See, the one who is nirmukta of all this. So that is how vijanati. Antikat, antike, samipe, ईशानम ईशितारम भूतभव्यस्य कालत्रयस्य ततः तद्विज्ञानात् ऊर्ध्वम् आत्मानं न विजुगुप्सते न गोपायितुमिच्छति. So this is to be very, very clearly understood. The question that was asked to Yama by Nachiketa is, after this mriti, after death, is there someone or not? Okay, beyond this sharira, okay, so beyond this kalebara, is there something which is beyond or not is the question. Now, for that only this answer is being etadvaitat is, it is that entity which is being described. Now, that entity is described as Ishanam Bhuta Bhavyasya. Understand? So, you as a jiva is not Ishanam Bhuta Bhavyasya. So, Ishanam Bhuta Bhavyasya is what is being stated. See, both are stated here. We have to understand. Yayimam Madhvadam Veda. Katham Veda? Ishanam Bhuta Bhavyasyeti Veda. Understand? That is very, very, very important here. So, Yayimam Madhvadam. Madhvadam, we all know. Okay? I am the experience of Sukha, I am the experience of Dukha. Everyone knows. I am the father of so and so, mother of so. So, this we know. But we should know that it is this Sharira Upadhi which makes us tag something to this. But once we remove this, so we understand the true nature of Atman, and that is Ishanam Bhuta Bhavyasya. That is why here he is using the word Atma Maheshwaram. Understand? So this Maheshwara aspect conveys Ishanam Bhuta Bhavyasya. Bhuta Bhavyasya means that which was existing before, that which is going to come later. So Ishanam Bhuta Bhavyasya Yaha Evam Veda Saha Tataha na Vijugupsate. After that, this fellow is not going to fear from anything for that matter. Ishanam Bhuta Bhavyasya Natato Vijugupsate. See, Bhuta Bhavyasya Kalatrayasya Tataha Tad Vijnanat Urdhvam. Urdhvam means the moment you understand yourself to be different from this mind body sense complex, what can affect you? What can affect you? So that is why he is just saying Tataha. Once this understanding is there, na vijugupsate tad vijnanat urdhvam atman na vijugupsate na gopayitum ichhati. Why? Abhayapraptatvat. Abhayapraptatvat. Anything that can happen only to the mind body sense complex, not to the Atman. After all, any protection that you want to give is only for this. Right? So anything that you can think of, that you want to save yourself, that you want to do this, that, etc., is only for this Sharira. And if you just understand this to be beyond this, then Abhayapraptatvat Yavadhi Bhayamadhyastha Anityam Atmanam Manyate Tavat Gopayitum Ichatya Atmanam. Yavadhi. That is why if you look at the lives of great saints, so there is nothing like Gopayitum Ichha. Whatever happens, let it happen. As long as this has to be there, this karma phala has to be exhausted, let it be there. That is how they just live. So there is no question of any bhaya. So that is why he is trying to say abhayapraptatvat. In fact, as long as there is adhyasa, this bhaya is going to be there. See, there is a very interesting verse, no? I'll tell. See, Aradhana is there, so we'll give some exercise for her. Bhoge roga bhayam.
Bhoge roga bhayam.
Bhoge roga bhayam. Kule chuti bhayam.
Kule
Chuti bhayam. Kule chuti bhayam. Vitte nripalat bhayam. Vitte nripalat bhayam. Vitte nripalat bhayam. Mane dainya bhayam.
Mane
Dainya bhayam. Mane dainya bhayam. Bale ripu bhayam. Bale ripu bhayam. Bale ripu bhayam. Rupe jaraya bhayam. Rupe jaraya bhayam. Rupe jaraya bhayam. Shastre vadi bhayam.
Shastre
Vadi bhayam. Shastre vadi bhayam. Gune khala bhayam.
Gune khalavayam.
Gune khala bhayam. Kaye kritantat bhayam. Kaye kritantat bhayam. Kaye kritantat bhayam. Sarvam vastu bhayanvitam bhuvindrinam. Sarvam vastu bhayanvitam bhuvindrinam.
Vidranam.
Sarvam vastu bhayanvitam bhuvindrinam. Vairagyameva bhayam. Vairagyameva bhayam. Vairagyameva bhayam. See, so you see, this verse basically lists a few things. Bhoge roga bhayam, right? See, there's 4 days back, one fellow was saying that some people, so some Bengali was there, okay? So he was having dinner. That Bengali said, I have seen people eating some 30-40 rasagullas, he said. I said, are you joking? He said, no, I am not joking. So they will bring one bucket of rasagulla. And then he says, after having full meal, they will eat. That entire bucket will be empty, he says. So I am not joking. He said it should contain not less than 40-50 rasagullas, he says. But they will eat. Okay? But some of us, so even to have one rasagulla, there is a big problem. Why? Roga bhayam. Anyway, so I'm not saying that they will not have roga. They may not have, they need not have. But I'm saying, so there is always a certain fear, right? Bhoge, roga bhayam. Any kind of bhoga. Okay. Then, kule, chuti bhayam. Kule, I mean, I am highborn person. Chuti means falling out. Okay. So my grandfather was so and so. So there is a chuti, slipping away from that status. Kule chuti bhayam. Vitte nripalat bhayam. You know, all of us know. Okay. Vitte nripalat bhayam. So some law may change. So suddenly. So you may have to pay more money. Sometimes they may take away land also. Some other law may come. So you cannot have more than 50 acres. So just give it back. Vitte nripalat bhayam. Mane dainya bhayam. Mane dainya bhayam. See, mana, so there is certain prestige. Okay, so I occupy this position. Suppose he sleep, what happens? Dainya bhayam. Then we have bale ripu bhayam. So this bala can be understood in any kind of a prowess. Okay, ripu bhayam. So some enemy. So suppose today P.V. Swanandava or someone is there. Okay. So somebody else will come. So there was some Martina Navratilova. I remember some player. some other player will come, then you are gone. See, Bale Ripu Bhayam. Okay, this Ripu actually is enemy. So that is how it is said. Rupe Jaraya Bhayam. See, this many people have. See, Rupe Jaraya Bhayam. In fact, that is how the entire industry is functioning. Okay, this cosmetic industry is essentially Rupe Jara. I heard that it is a huge airport is all, half airport is filled with cosmetics. Rupe Jaraya Bhayam. Shastre Vadi Bhayam. Understand? Shastre. I am such a great Pandita. Some other Pandita will come. Vadi is the one who can take on you. Okay. Shastre Vadi Bhayam. Then Gune Khala Bhayam. So you may be doing genuinely tapasya. Some fellow will be there. Just a nataka. Gune Khala Bhayam. Then Kaye Kritantat Bhayam. In this Sharira, Kritanta is Yama. Everyone has this fear. Kaye Kritantat Bhayam. Therefore, Sarvam Vastu Bhayanvitam. Bhuvi Nrinam Vairagyameva Bhayam. So what is the message here? Any of these things that you have been listing is all because of this upadhi. Understand? Whether it is buddhi upadhi or sharira upadhi. Right? So if you are able to see you as distinct from this upadhi, ayam upahitaha atma, upadhi gunat, all this bhaya. See, once you have this, then abhaya prapti, that is what he is trying to say. Abhaya praptatvat. Ishanam bhuta bhavyasya, how is it possible? Ishanam bhuta bhavyasya is possible only when you have this separation, this clear understanding that I am Atma. So this has nothing to do with Sharira. This aham anubhava, aham pratyaya vishaya has nothing to do with the Sharira, we see. Right? Because this aham is there. Whether you are 90 years old or you are 19 years old. See, 19 years old, there will be some glow. In fact, I was showing some picture, 22 years back taken to June. She could not believe that this is what I am. You understand? See, not a single hair was grey then. Now not a single hair is black. So this is, see, there are various things which keep happening. Okay. So then I was 20 kg less also. Now it is 20 kg more. So every year I have put 1 kg. Shastre. So this all, see, all this is happening to the upadhi. We need to understand very clearly. Therefore he says, Vairagyameva Bhayam. So that is what he is saying. See, you see, Yavadhi Bhayamadhyastha Anityam Atmanam Manyate Tavat Gopayitumichhati Atmanam. See, as long as you have adhyasa with the Sharira, you want to protect yourself. Once this adhyasa is gone, there is no question of protection. So this Sharira came to me, the Sharira is going to go. So that kind of a jnana, he is saying. So, Yavadhi Bhayamadhyastha Anityam Atmanam Manyate Tavat Gopayitum Ichhati Atmanam. You understand? This phrase has to be reversed. Yavadhi Anityam Atmanam Manyate Tavat Bhayamadhyastha. Understand? So, this Anitya is only Sharira. Atma is Shashvata. So, Tavat Gopayitum Ichhatya Atmanam Yadatu Nityam Advaitam Atmanam Vijanati. Understand? Nityam Advaitam Atmanam Vijanati. Atma Nitya and Advaita. So there is only one Atman which is pervading. So if you are confining, then there is no question of oneness. Nityam Atmanam Vijanati Tada Kaha Kim Kutova Gopayitum Ichet. Kaha Gopayitum Ichet. Kim Gopayitum Ichet. Kuto Gopayitum Ichet. What a beautiful phrase. See, Kuto Gopayitum Ichet. Etadvaitat. This is what that Atma is. So that is what was the answer that is given. See, so this Madhvadam, we all understand ourselves to be Madhvadam. But the true nature is Ishanam Bhuta Bhavyasya. So this has to be understood. This is a short mantra but very important mantra. See, Imam Madhvadam Veda Atmanam. See, this is also very important to understand, but you simply cannot say Ishanam Bhuta Bhavyasya. Whatever you understand, see, this is what it is. So even in a Bhranti, see, whatever you see as rope is snake, or whatever you see as snake is rope. You understand? Even the Bhranti, whichever it is. So what is known has to be first stated. Madhvadam is something which all of us know. But Ishanam Bhuta Bhavyasya is not known. So that is what is being conveyed here. So here he is saying, see, Madhu Bhujam Karma Phala Bhoktaram. So how do we understand the term Madhu to be Karma Phala Bhokta? I said it is a Gauna Prayoga. So you have to just take Madhu is an object of enjoyment. Karma Phala is also an object which is to be experienced by us. Okay? Madhu is a term which has been employed to understand something which is experienced by you. Madhu Bhujam Karma Phala Bhoktaram. Then he says, Anena cha bhogya lingena bhoktuhu anumanam siddhyati. So here there are 2-3 anumanas which he was saying. Initially, bhasya lingena bhasaka anumanam. Ishitavya lingena ishitra anumanam. Vyapya lingena vyapaka anumanam. Now he is saying, see, bhogya lingena bhoktuhu anumanam. In fact, if you just take the terms itself, bhogya and bhokta, both of them essentially come from bhuj dhatu, right? What are the pratyayas? Bhogya is nyat pratyaya. Okay? So bhuj dhatoho nyat pratyaya krite bhogyam, you will get the rupa. Okay? So if you keep trich pratyaya, see, it will become bhokta. See, so trich pratyaya will make it bhokta. Now this Madhu Bhuja is described as bhokta. Understand? So this bhokta is this Madhu Bhuja, this jiva. Now he is saying, see, bhoktuhu anumanam bhogya lingat. See, we understand these are all bhogyas. Now the bhogyas are different. See, so rupa is a bhogya, rasa is a bhogya, shabda is a bhogya, all are bhogyas. Okay? So this bhogya and there is a bhokta. Okay? So bhogya lingena bhoktuhu anumanam is what he is saying. In fact, so there is an interesting thing that if you understand this bhokta, we understand is to be jiva, no? But if you look at Vishnu Sahasranama, he is also described as a bhokta. Brajishnur bhojanam bhokta sahishnur jagadadijaha. We have. How do you describe Ishvara as a bhokta then? You have to just change the derivation. You understand? See, so he is also bhokta. We are also bhoktas. So so now as far as this jiva is concerned, you have to say bhungte. Kim bhungte? Karma phalam bhungte. Madhu bhujam. You understand? So bhungte iti bhokta. Karma phalam bhungte iti bhokta. So if you go to Ishvara, you have to say bhunakti. See, bhunakti means palayati. See, so palana karta, trich pratyaya. So karta, trich pratyaya is same. Okay. So palayatiti saha bhokta. Ayam karma phalam bhungte iti bhokta. Okay. So this is the distinction. So bhoktuhu anumanam. So here bhogya lingena bhoktuhu anumanam. Okay. You can say, see, bhogya samanyam sabhoktru bhojyatvad. See, bhogya samanyam sabhoktru bhojyatvad. You can say payasavat. It's no problem. So the moment you say bhogya, there is a bhokta. So otherwise it doesn't become a bhogya. So these two are connected terms. Okay, I think we'll stop here and we'll just finish this in the next class and move on to the next one. Om Sahanavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mavidyushavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarve Sukhinas Santu Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhav Bhavet. Om